Hello everyone, I'm home. Welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, we're going to sit out here for a few minutes and watch a storm roll in. It's getting really dark and it's thundering off in the distance and it's just barely sprinkling. But I wanted to come on here and tell you something. You know how I'm always telling you guys you should watch certain YouTube channels and everything? And I pass on the ones that I think are good, right? Well, I had another YouTuber messaged me the other day and she said, listen, I have some advice for you. She said, I don't want you telling about other channels anymore. She said, what are you thinking? She said, if they're watching their channel, they're not watching your channel. She said, so I don't think I would do that. And she said, you need to work on your channel. Forget about the others. And I got to thinking about that, and that's about all she said. No other advice. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I've had suggestions given to me on other channels to watch. And I've watched them, and I liked them. Some of them I didn't, but most of them I did. And I think it's a nice thing to do. I wish someone would share my channel. I don't know that any of them have, even the people that I've did a shout out for. I don't think any of them have shouted out my channel, but that's okay. And I shout out for a lot of people who have far more followers than I have and a lot more success, but I'm not going to stop doing it. I think it's a nice thing to do, and whether they shout me out or not, I don't care. I just want people to watch videos that are good, and if it's something I think you guys are interested in, I'm going to tell you about it. So if that lady's watching, just know that I didn't take your advice. I'm going to continue to do that if I see the need. I've got bricks down here. I'm taking bricks out and I'm weeding and putting the bricks back down. The moles get to them and they make a mess. And about every 3 years I have to take all the bricks out and re-level them with sand and put them back down. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys about that. I'm enjoying my day. I've been working on a room inside that I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit. And I've been cleaning and I've been doing laundry and washing sheets and cutting. Oh, I'll just show you later. But anyway, I was kind of surprised by that advice. I just thought it was, I understand it. I mean, she's saying, don't worry about other people, worry about your own. But like I said, I don't mind helping other people, and I want you guys to see things that you'll enjoy. I've enjoyed watching channels that people have told me about, and I don't know. Anyway, it's starting to rain a little bit. I have some trash to pick up out of the yard. Our neighbors are remodeling and we've had some things blow into our yard. I wanted to apologize for the video of Danville Gardens. I watched it on my phone and it looked fabulous. I watched it on my laptop and it looked fabulous. And I watched it on my TV set last night and I just about got sick. Oh my gosh, I was moving so fast, and you don't notice it on the smaller devices, but on the TV, it was like, oh my gosh, Marcy, slow down. And another thing, oh, I said in that last video that I love it when I go to a yard sale and fill in my happy tank by getting a little votive, and I put it in my purse and go home and I'm happy, and it sounded like I stole it from the yard sale. I was saying, you know, a lot of times I'll buy one little thing at a yard sale and I'll say, oh, you don't have to put it in a bag, I'll just stick it in my purse. And I carry big purses, which is another thing. I like big purses. And I was thinking the other day, I always end up leaving them in my car when I go in thrift shops because they'll say no big purses or backpacks allowed. So, okay, I understand that. People steal. I don't, but I understand it. So I'll just take my wallet and my phone and go inside. And I like to carry my purses though. So, yeah, they don't want big purses. And that's my favorite kind of purse. But I will do that at a yard sale. I'll say, oh, I'll just put it in my purse. You don't have to put it in a bag. And that saves them some bags. But anyway, when I watched that video, I said, oh, I'm at this yard sale and I find a neat little votive for $1 or a quarter. And I just put it in my bag and I go home and I'm happy. And it sounded like I totally stole it. And Anyway, there were some other things on that video that were kind of goofy. You know how I am. I'm goofy about things. Like at the beginning when I messed up on I'm Home, I do that every time. I usually have to do the intro about 5 times before I get it right, and then I go right into my voiceover, and I can usually do the whole video voiceover from one end to the other without having to stop and start. I've learned to do that, and sometimes I mess up and have to stop, or something will happen and I have to stop, but my husband said, I don't know how you do that. He said, I would, and my friend Brenda said, oh my gosh, I'd be going, and I said, well, I try to just keep talking, and sometimes I mess up, and you guys can pretty much tell when I mess up, and I'm just going to keep going because I'm not the best editor. And that was another thing. I was watching Miranda Christine this morning, and I'm going to shout out to her channel, Miranda Christine. Her channel is Maranda Christine. And she's a lovely young girl, and she's married, and she just bought a new house, and she's fixing it all up, and she thrifts and finds the cool things that I like, and she's really sweet. I just love to watch her channel, and I want you guys to watch it. But she was talking this morning about her, people saying that her sound wasn't good, like she'll change from one scene to another and the sound goes down and you have to turn the volume up. I'm sure I've done that before. I've seen that. She's probably like me. She's not real tech savvy. I mean, I don't know, she might be, but she's figuring it out, and I'm trying to figure that out too. There's different ways of putting music in the background where it's real soft, and we're learning. She's got a lot more followers than I have, and she's getting really popular, but we're learning, you know. This is all a learning thing, and I'm learning as well. So anyway, we're getting a lot of thunder, some lightning over there. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's neat. I love it when it rains. I love it. The house is real dark, and I have little lights on, and I've got one of my burners on that's got a real pretty smell, and I'm getting ready to make some tomato sauce for some pasta and cinnamon rolls for my husband. I make a thing of cinnamon rolls about every other month, and I just make them, and he dearly loves cinnamon rolls, and I ice them, and I individually bag them and put them in the freezer, and he can just pop one out and put it in the microwave for a few minutes, or probably 30 seconds, and have a nice hot cinnamon roll. So I'm making those today. It seems like fall. It's muggy and hot out here, but the atmosphere seems like fall. So I'm letting you look at my backyard this time instead of the front yard. I should be sitting on the porch because it's sprinkling pretty good, but I wanted you guys to have something different to look at while I rambled on about all my bloopers and that lady telling me to quit doing what I was doing. And I have a few YouTubers that I talk to, and a lot of them have been so helpful. They give me great advice, and I've had some reach out to me, and I've given some advice, and I hope I've given good advice. I don't know. I'm not good enough at this to be given too much advice, but I sure enjoy talking to you guys and sharing ideas. I'm going to show you some cool things coming up, or I think they're cool. I don't know if you will. And I am going to take you in my store soon, probably this weekend when I open. Before I open, I'll give you guys a little tour and let you see what's going on. Oh, and I've got a really good idea. I've seen other people do something that I'm going to do, but I'm going to do mine a little bit different. Like, I need another project, right? But this is a really cool idea, and I already have all the things that I need to build the initial piece that I need for it. So I'm gonna do that. Oh, my mind, I tell you what, my mind is boggled with ideas every single day. And then I was going through my magazines in one of my rooms today, and I stacked them Christmas to fall to spring to summer, and then I found I had a bunch of garden magazines, and I have to sit down later and look at all those. I'm about to go crazy wanting to do that. That barn out there, that brown barn, that is not ours. That belongs to the man who has the field out there. We don't like that barn. I wish it was red, but there used to be another barn in front of it, and then a big windstorm took it down one day, and that's not our fence. That belongs to him, and it doesn't hold anything in. It's been taken down at each end, but we paint it and try to keep it looking nice because we do like it. I try to imagine what it would look like without that fence, and just seeing the field, and that might look nice, but it kind of looks nice with the fence. I don't know. It's just really, really old, and it's hard to paint. We have to paint it every summer, and we roll it with a roller. But anyway, I'm getting a lot of ideas, and I can't wait to get my cinnamon rolls done, my tomato sauce done, enjoy the afternoon sitting inside in the rain, in the dark, with small lights, low lights, and my smelly fragrance, and just look at magazines. And then that will give me more ideas. Guys, it's a never-ending circle with me. Over there on my bell pole, I'm going to tell you about my bell pole real quick. There's an electrical cord there because, of course, I have to light my lights up at night. So I just went ahead and plugged it in, and then I just plug it in the house when I want the lights to come on. But that bell is from 1869. It came from my great Uncle George's house. I've told you about George and Grace many times, and their house in Latham, Ohio, was a little Victorian cottage that they lived in, and we rang that dinner bell so many times when we were kids. It needs repainted. I painted it 2 years ago, and it needs it again. But my brother-in-law, Ray Lake, he put that up for me, and I was so happy to get it. My dad had it at his house, right in the center of the two front doors. He had two front doors on the front of his house, and that was in between the two doors for, gosh, since 1968 or 70, something like that. And one day the pole rotted off and broke, and it landed on the ground, and my dad said, "Do you want the bell?" And I said, "Yes, I want the bell." So I brought it out here, and Ray put it up for me, and I think of Ray every time I look at that bell, and I think of my great Uncle George and Aunt Grace and their little Victorian cottage, and I think of my dad and how many years he rang that bell when he was a little boy. And they actually used it for a dinner bell. My great Uncle George, he would be out plowing with a horse and an old plow out behind their home, and Grace would go out there and ring the bell when she needed him to come in. So that bell means a lot to me, and I'm going to get up there and sand it down and repaint it. But it's a really cool thing, and it says 1869 on it, and I don't know where George got it, but we love it. My boys rang it a lot. I'm just rambling because I'm sitting out here in the rain. It's sprinkling pretty good now. So I'm going to get off of here and go inside and take some pictures for you guys and finish the rest of the video. But I just wanted to tell you that I really enjoy talking to you guys. I'm sorry you have to look at the same thing over and over. I don't have any footage of anything exciting today. And I'm real sorry about the Danville Gardens thing. You can see my Danville Garden flowers out there. They're so beautiful. And my fire pit has so much wood in it that the lid's up. I go around in the yard and pick up sticks and little branches and fill that up to get the fire started. And behind it there's a little couple baskets that hold sticks, and we always have branches falling around here, so we never have to buy firewood. So anyway, it's starting to rain really hard, so I'm going to get off of here and show you guys the rest of the video. Please enjoy it. Look what it looks like now, guys. That's 2 minutes after I came back into the house. My lights went down. So some flowers blew over and some limbs down, but nothing major. So I'm at a yard sale the other day, and I picked up three sweatshirts for $1 a piece. They were really nice, good quality, clean sweatshirts, but they wouldn't have fit any of us. And I sat on the bed yesterday during the storm and watched some YouTube videos, and I cut the sweatshirts up, and I make cleaning cloths out of them. And I use them to dust with and to mop the floor. I have a Swiffer mop, and I'll just wet them down and put some cleanser on them and use them. And if I use them, I keep them in this basket. If I use them in the bathroom, I usually just toss them. But if I use them on the regular part of the house, I'll rewash them if they're not too bad. But I keep them in this basket, and I had quite a few, so I added some more to the pile, and it saves a lot of money. Now, do you remember when I thrifted a bunch of stuff that I wanted to use in a French country bedroom? It was Matthew's old bedroom, and I had thrifted this beautiful Victorian bench and ended up recovering the seat with the red toile fabric. Now, some of the stuff that I'm looking back at this video I thrifted for that room did not get used in that room, but the room's been done quite a while. It just needs to be painted and the trim put up. But I had found this French country basket that I thought was so pretty for it, and I ended up using it for potatoes in the kitchen. And then this wonky, taller basket that I just loved ended up having onions in it. So I put those in my kitchen, and I probably won't put them in the bedroom, but everything kind of blends with my house, so it doesn't really matter. But remember, I was with my friend at the Bad Salvation Army, and I thought, wouldn't it be neat if I found the gold and orange roses that were in that fabric that I had, and I turned the corner and that bouquet was there? And this is the magazine that kind of gave me the inspiration for the room. And so I had a little end table that I had thrifted on one side of the bed. And yesterday I just got this wild hair that I was going to change it out and put it on the other side of the bed and move a desk over there. Now this is a scarf I had on it to cover some cords, but I liked the little table so well I didn't really want to cover the whole desk or the whole table. So I laid this scarf just towards the back, and it covers up the cords from our router, which is underneath the table. Then I put the little desk that I had painted the mossy green over on the other side for an end table. And I started changing it a little bit, decorating it a little bit different. That little chair, that's the one that was on my porch last week that I stained. I brought it inside to use it for that desk. This lamp, oh my gosh, when I met my husband, I found 2 of these lamps in his shed, and they were so old looking. And he said, those aren't old, they came from JCPenney or Sears. He said, I have a set of them. Well, one lamp was totally broken, but the other one wasn't. But I kept them both, and I still have one out in the garage I'm going to fix someday. But they are so beautiful and look so old. And then this is the top of the dresser in that room. I keep my little French country clock and some rose pictures and my little necklace holder. And this is a bowl full of broken plates. I dropped 2 plates, and I'm going to give those to my jewelry making friends and see if they can make me some kind of jewelry out of it. Otherwise it's going in the trash. So that's the top of that dresser, and that little lamp gives off a real pretty glow. It's kind of a burgundy-ish color. And then this is the thrifted rug that I found, and if I had my druthers, I'd like to have the floor be done in hardwood, but it's carpet. This is one end of the room. I have my little bench, and it's really nice to leave that bench there. You can lay things on it. And then this is a $1 suitcase I found about 20 years ago, and I'll tell you what I do with it. I've always had that propped up against the wall or under a bed. It's so pretty, I kind of like to leave it out. But it is absolutely full of things from the boys' grade school years. And I started writing them letters when they were born. Whenever I was just sitting and holding one of them or watching them play, I would write them a letter and tell them what they were doing at that time, like who their friends were, what kind of words they were saying, when they were walking, and where we went, and the things they did, funny little things that happened. And I wrote lots and lots of letters, and about 5 years ago I got them out and read a couple of them to them, and I thought they'd be more interested in them than they were, but I think someday they'll be very interested in them. So yesterday I brought some out in the living room and read them to Kevin, and we had a good laugh and a little cry over some of the things that they said. And one of the letters was from September 11th 2000, and it's really sad. And I was talking in that 9/11 letter that the gas prices went up to $1.69 that day, and that it was ridiculous. And I thought, wow, be nice to have that price again. And this is a postcard that I copied off and framed to put on that little cabinet that I made, that I painted a mushroom green. And I just set that little cabinet on that little end table on the other side of the bed and just added some pretties to it. That's my great-grandparents, and some pretty little plates and dishes. And these are the flowers and a little glass set. And this is the Nancy Noel print of the twins that reminded me of my boys. I need to get a new frame for that, which I haven't been able to locate one. And then this is under that little table, my milk glass punch bowl with some magazines in it that kind of hides my router that's plugged in back behind it. And I don't know, when you buy as much stuff as I do at thrift stores, you have to repurpose it somehow. I found this little stocking, and I was so glad to find it. I made it last year for Christmas to put on someone's gift that likes primitive stuff, and I couldn't find it, and I made another one, and I thought I must have thrown that away in some scraps, and I found it under the bed when I swept. It got sucked up in the sweeper. So here's the room with my makeshift curtains that I just kind of put together until I find the ones I want. That's the cabinet Marcus used to keep all of his trophies trophies from school in. And that's my little nativity set on the top that I just like to look at, so I leave it out. Some of those background pieces were my grandpa's wood that I fixed that with. And if you guys know how to get these stickers off, Marcus used these when he ran in cross country for competition, and I can't get them off. And there's a little desk that was inspired by that magazine, and I'll change it from time to time, but it has magazines and old books and some man's chapel pictures. There's a picture of me that needs a new glass in it. That's the little box I made for my dad years ago, and it has all of his little trinkets in it that belongs to the boys. So that man's chapel picture I took. This one is a drawn man's chapel picture by Leon Gossett, a local artist, and my grandmother's Last Supper picture. And then this lamp, I thrifted that at Goodwill for $3.99, and it is the most precious little bird lamp. I've had it in different places all over my house, and I just love it. Now, I elevate my lamps with books when I put them next to the bed, so that if you're reading in bed, you can see well. And then that's a painting I did way back in the 80s of a Victorian lady walking through some flowers. And this comforter was on our bed, and it's fine, but we don't really need it. So when I turn it sideways, it goes floor to floor perfectly on this bed. So yeah, it's coming together. And of course, I thrifted those pillows and washed them real good, and I just love them. None of them match, but they match perfectly. And this bed's going to be a 4-poster bed. I've got the plans for it. It's just Marcy's got to get some time to do that, and I will. Now, this is my little cabinet that I made, and I set it on the little end table on the other side, and I put a plate for a coaster, a lamp, pictures of me and the boys when they were little, my postcards, my old books, Grandma and Grandpa, my great-grandparents. And that's a little glass set that I thrifted, and I just don't have anywhere else to put it. And there's the flowers that were the main inspiration for this room when I first started putting all the colors together. And even though nothing matches, everything blends together really well. It's a nice, quaint, restful little room. It smells good. I've got a little potpourri burner in there, and I'm going to paint it. I didn't like this color once we got it all done. It's called parchment, but I just didn't care for it. And then on the other side of the room is my bench, and there's some paint samples of the new paint, and that used to hang over my fireplace. I want to put some crown molding up. This little lamp I just recently picked up at the thrift store for $2, the whole lamp, and it's gorgeous. The lampshade's fantastic, and there's some prints that I just framed, but that lampshade is so beautiful. It's kind of I can't remember what they call that. And there's my lovely Rosie. I told you how lovely she was, and she makes me so happy that she's sitting in that little room smiling at me. And I got the idea for my bench from Rosie. She had one in her spare bedroom, and she would put pictures, photos, and her books that she was reading on it. And I thought, well, heck, I'll just set some pictures and books on mine, because I don't really sit on it. I'll lay a blanket over it or a bathrobe. But I really like the way the room turned out. It's a small room, and it's very, oh, and look here. Ceiling fan. I need a chandelier for that room, right? But I'll get it painted, and it'll be lovely. And the rain and the storms did not hurt my flowers too much, but I saw on Facebook where several of my friends lost their gardens. It just snapped everything right in half. I haven't been to Brad yet to see if his sunflowers snapped, but his weren't too tall, so maybe they didn't. My niece gave me this pedestal from an old pedestal sink that had broken, and I had my gazing ball on it, and I had it glued, and I had it taped, and it's been there with alien tape on it for years, and the wind took it over yesterday and busted it. So this was a picture of a beautiful deer out in our field, and it just stood there for the longest time and finally ran off. But you know what? A lot of times we'll go out and sit on the porch, and they'll come right up in our yard, and then we'll talk to them, and they'll stand there for a minute, and then they'll run off. So if you go on Facebook, you can find me at I'm Home and see what I'm doing here at home. A lot of times I'll post pictures on there, and as always, you can go to my Instagram account at MarcyJoe631, and I'll throw some things on there every now and then, and you can leave me comments on any of those platforms. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Subscribing helps my channel so much. And as always, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart.